What's going on, everyone? I hope you're very well. I hope you're having a very nice day. Today we're going to work on this little fishbowl, like the name of the channel suggests, fishbowls and musgo. But the thing about this little fishbowl is that it's very small. Look, it's very small. It fits in the palm of my hand. Even though I have big hands, it's still very small. So the space that we got is limited. So I thought I'd make an open terrarium now. And this is actually going to be like a little paludarium because I'm actually going to include a section of the little fishbowl that's going to be underwater. It's going to have water. That's why we're going to be working in layers. It's going to be similar to my previous micro paludarium in the Ferrero Rocher box. So we can see that we got everything that we need here. We got the moss. Yeah. This is the little plant species that I'm going to be working with. This is Serissa Phoetida. Serissa plant, it grows as a small bush, but it's used for bonsai too because of its small leaves. And I'm not going to use this one because it's too big, but I'm going to use that cutting that rooted a couple of months ago. And of course we got, the soil and the stones. Yeah. So I'm going to place the camera down and I'm going to go over, the basic structure I'm going to be doing as I go along. Yeah. So the first thing that we're going to do is add a little bit of gardening soil at the bottom, which is going to be our nutrient base for our plants. Yeah. And only a small section of the actual build is going to be growing plants. I mean aquatic plants. So that's why I'm only going to apply the gardening soil at the front of the build, like so. Yeah. So the other part, like you've seen me do in the Wallstad method, I'm going to cover with aquarium gravel. In this case, is sand. Right? Very fine aquarium gravel and sand. And I'm just going to take it out and cover the whole build with it. So I have it over here. And we can start at the back and then we continue like so. And the reason we do this is so that the nutrients stay underwater. So that's pretty much it. This is going to be the front of our build over here. Yeah. So the back, we can go ahead and pile some more of our aquarium gravel. So we can have this section over here. Let me see if I can show you from the top. So we're going to have this section over here as an immersed. This is going to be like the ground level of the build, while this is going to be underwater. Yeah. So I'm going to pile more soil over here, and then we can continue. I'm going to place the camera down and pause the video a little bit because I ran out of aquarium gravel. So I'm going to place the camera down and then we continue. Okay. So now that I've got more, I started thinking, and I think it would be a better idea if I made this a bit shallower. So we distribute the aquarium gravel on the gardening soil beneath, so that the water element of a build is featured heavily, Okay, so after we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, add more aquarium gravel. At the back. Like so. Perfect. And then distribute it so that we have a base there. I'm going to continue doing that, but then just so that the vase is more stable, I'm going to add rocks. Yeah, I'm going to add rocks, and I'm going to place them horizontally so that we have a nice platform there from where our little tree at the edge of a lake can grow. I'm going to also make sort of like a wall here, retention wall. Oops. So that the soil doesn't escape, or the aquarium gravel doesn't come flooding in to the submerged section of the build. Yeah. So I'm going to continue doing that. That will be sort of like a hardscape, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished, and then we proceed with the next stage. Okay. So this is what I mean by saying I'm going to create a base. We can see that I piled a bunch of stones there. There's going to be, going to serve like a little platform, while leaving this space where I'm going to plant the aquarium plants without rocks. So the next step will be to add more aquarium gravel here, and then we continue with the next step, which I think is going to be essential. So I'm going to do that, more aquarium gravel, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so the main structure is there. We can see that there's a definite little hollow spot there that's going to be underwater. It's going to be submerged, and then we use the stones so that they form sort of like a barrier, and then I'm going to show you from the top. We got this whole area is going to be used to grow plants, but not aquarium plants, immersed plants. Now, the next step, and I mentioned it was going to be essential, would be this. And I know, I usually build my terrariums and paludariums as natural as possible, but one of the things that I wanted to improve from my previous micro paludarium, the one with the Ferrero Rocher box, was that the water kept coming up, even though we work in different layers and those layers were very, very well defined, the water kept coming up, and some of the mosses don't do very well in direct contact with water, and the same goes for these little plants. So if I want to have both of them growing here, I have to work in layers, but I also have to keep sort of like a barrier, a division, a very clear division that ultimately is going to be unnoticeable. It's going to be invisible once the terrarium is finished. But yeah, it's got to be there. It's got to be in place so that we can have both elements, the immersed plants and then the aquarium plants. The immersed plants and the moss and the aquarium plants. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to place the camera down, and then I'm going to fill this with my bonsai soil. Yeah. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So here I go. Now, just because this is divided like that doesn't mean that we can just pour things without a care in the world. No, we got to be careful, right? We got to be careful, gentle, try to be as careful as possible. And right now I'm seeing that there's nothing here to hold this in place. So maybe I can go and look for other little stones that are going to be there in place, so that all of the soil doesn't fall to the underwater section of the build. So I'm going to go ahead and look for those little stones, and then we continue. Let's continue. So I'm going to place them strategically here, just so that everything stays in place, like so. Maybe another one over here. Yeah. And then we continue adding our soil. We gotta use another one over here to keep this one propped up, but it's kind of difficult to place. Let's see. It's also got to be the right size. So, oh no, it's gonna fall. I'm gonna get my tongs for this. Okay, here we go again. There we go. This one over here. Should be there. We can place another one here. So that it all stays in place. Okay, so we continue with the bonsai soil. Some of you know that I also have a bonsai channel. In fact, that was my first channel. Yeah, so if you're into bonsai as well, you can go ahead and check that out. You know, you might be thinking, well, that's a very, very shallow place for a little plant to be growing in. But remember, this is going to be a miniature built. So we're going to manage the size of the plant by pruning and by giving it a limited amount of space. Now that doesn't mean that the plant is going to suffer, is going to stress, because we're going to keep it in ideal conditions. But being a very small bush, a very small plant that is commonly used for bonsai, we will have absolutely no problems. Yeah. So that looks kind of cool. I'm going to continue adding the soil. And then we've reached the point in which we have to continue by taking the little plant out of the pot. Yeah. So I'm going to move this to the side for the moment. And the little bonsai pot is going to take center stage. Let's see, how am I going to do this? I'm just going to take it out. Sorry about my fingers. But this is the one that I'm going to be using. So, take it out of the pot. We try to be careful about it, but I can see that the roots have really gone down into the soil. So here we go. See that? Perfect. Perfect. Place the camera here. Come in with the aquarium. Carefully trim the roots so that we only keep the horizontal ones, like so. And then Let's focus a little bit. There we go. Carefully placing it here. Excellent. More soil. We can use a little bit of the soil that it had before, you know, the one it was growing in. But, you know, since that is growing in a pot with some other plants, then I think we can go ahead and use some fresh soil. Yeah. So we have it over there. Now you notice this corner over here. Now this will be very good if we prolong this little barrier all the way over here. So we have all of this space with more bonsai soil where the plant can grow. Like I said, it's not gonna grow very tall. It's not gonna be a super tall plant, but it, you know, the more soil that we have, the better, so it can thrive, you know, not just survive, but thrive there. So I think we're gonna do that. It's gonna require a little bit more stones over there, but I think once I put them in place, it's gonna be no problem. So I'm gonna use a big stone there, and then I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna show you when it's all done, and then we can continue with the last step, which will be the planting. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So here we are. We can see that the main, you know, placement of soil and stones is there. Now the last thing that I'm going to do is add a layer of gardening soil here at the base of the plant, at the top of the whole build, so that the moss can grow in. Yeah. So I'm going to do that while it's dry. I'm going to come in with the gardening soil now. Over here. Like so. And you know, one of my concerns with this build is that since it's going to be open, is whether or not the moss is going to survive, you know? Because it's going to be a very wet environment. That's for sure, yeah. But compared to a closed terrarium with a lid, it's gonna be less humid. So I'm not sure if all the moss is gonna survive. That's why I'm gonna use very hardy moss. Yeah. So that's we can see here. That's the gardening soil, and now. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of wet gardening soil to make a little barrier. A little barrier. So that's going to be like when we make a root of a rock project and we make keto soil to keep everything in place. That's what I'm doing here. You see that? Literally, are you seeing that? You know, the glare is already starting to be annoying. But, you know, I just put a little something there. I'm going to continue with this side. Little chunk of soil there. And another one on the left side. So here we go. I think this is going to be the last one. Like so. We push in with our tools. A little bit more on the front of the tree. That's pretty much it, you know. I'm gonna start filling up the lower part. There's a little bit of that gardening soil that actually went down, so the first few weeks I'm gonna have to do like weekly water changes. You can go ahead and fill this up already. I'm gonna pause the video to get water and then we're gonna continue. We continue. Remember when I tell you at first that we gotta be gentle, that goes with the filling. You know, the filling procedure when we finally put water in the build. That's also gotta be the case. So that's why I'm using this watering bottle. But slowly we can see that the water is coming up. Yeah. So I didn't have the aquarium plants at the beginning of the video, but I'm gonna go and get them now. Yeah. So that's pretty much gonna be the last pause before the ending of the video. Well, yeah, you can really see what we're doing here. Okay. Then the last part will be the planting, the aquarium plants, the moss, and we'll call this a day. Okay. So we continue, and we have a couple of bucephalandras. One over there, another one over here, a couple of sprigs of Eliocharis over here, and a little Bacopa. Then we can put that here. That'd be nice. And then we plant the bucephalandras simply by sticking them in the ground. And this is a type of mini bucephalandra, so it will grow very comfortably here. Yeah. So let's continue with the filling process. You can see there's a bunch of debris over there because of all the impurities from the aquarium gravel. But those are going to settle. We can actually also scoop them out if we want. That's what I do actually, you know. So we fill the whole thing with water. And now we can see all of the defects in the arrangements of the stones or or the gravel. But you know, this is going to be something that we can tune in the next weeks. Yeah. So we spray this with water. Now the last thing would be to plant the moss. Yeah. So I got a tray over here of moss that I've started a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to show you. Very difficult to work with one hand, but you know, we got some moss over there. So it's just a matter of coming in and placing it on top, like so. Yeah. I'm gonna do that. Oops. Oh. I'm gonna have to edit that. No. Maybe if I put this on top of something. Hold on. There we go. So we continue with the moss planting. there. So I usually use my tongs and my tools to do this, but since it's very out in the open and you know, the procedure requires a little bit of a precision hand. I'm doing this with my fingers. Yeah, like so. Of course, the lighting is not the best, but once this is all finished, I'm gonna show you what it looks like under the light from the place where it's gonna be. This is gonna be in my desk, so that's where you'll be able to see how it looks in the end. Yeah. I'm going to continue doing this, and I'm going to show you the end result. Yeah, see you there. So this light is definitely better. You can see that the whole point of the build, we can see it clearly there. You know, the little plants at the bottom, the submerged part of the build, and we also have our little tree on top. Yeah, the moss has been planted. You know, I add a little stones, same stones that I used to build the whole little platform and the whole, you know, the whole layout, the hardscape. So we can see that it comes around very, very well. Yeah, I'm really happy with the result. Let's see how it evolves in the next coming weeks. And yeah, I really liked it. Yeah, we have it right next to the micro Paludarium, the Ferrero Rocher box. If we open it, we can see that it's also thriving. It's also doing quite well. And our little clips in a bottle over here. I'm just gonna go ahead and cover this so I can show you what it looks like at the moment. Thriving as well. So, you know, in about half an hour we made something that looks quite cool. You know, it's very, very small. Like I said at the beginning, I think I'm limiting myself with these very, very tiny builds, but I think they're also quite fun. And the maintenance for this will be, you know, give the occasional spray to the moss on top and keep the water level, you know, high enough so that the plants can continue to grow. Yeah, keep them in a well-lit spot, and you should be golden. Yeah. So I hope you liked this video. Rather long video. Hello. But you know, it was kind of nice. You know, I hope you're very well. I hope you're staying safe. Any comments, doubts, questions, drop them down below. Subscribe to my bonsai channel, this channel as well, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.